There are two universes going on. My brother calls them the alternate universe. We recognize that there are times where um, our country is not racist. There are spaces here, there are people here that aren't functioning in a racist way. But generally speaking, there is a constant parallel universe going on, the white world and the black world. There are things that black people have to do to survive and progress that white people do not have to do. And so I want you to hear something that I think contributes. And I really believe it has everything to do with media and education and how we present things in a way that tries to mask that these two parallel universes exist. America was founded being separate. Everything was separate but equal. And I don't think there's really been a time where, as a civilization, that we have said, we're not doing this anymore. We've just tried to evolve naturally as the times have gone on, but not really gotten at the root of it. To prove my point, I want you to hear a lesson that I taught recently using a video, because I'm just learning Latin, where the teacher defines the word antebellum. And as she's talking, I'm going to have videos shown that show that she's explaining one thing, but how the images of both worlds that were going on at the same time are so different.
First, let's talk about our new Latin saying. Our Latin saying for this lesson is antebellum. That's how you would say it in Latin, but I'm going to actually say it using the anglicized pronunciation because that is how you will hear it. Antebellum. Antebellum means before the war. And this is a very common saying in our American culture because it refers specifically to the Civil War and the culture of the South before the Civil War. So this was a culture where there was a landed aristocracy, and there was an ideal of chivalry. So you will often hear this Latin saying in reference to architecture or to manners or dress or just history in general. So antebellum is how we say it in Latin using our ecclesiastical pronunciation, but we're just going to say it using the anglicized pronunciation since that is how you'll hear it. So antebellum, and it means before the war. First, let's talk about our new Latin saying. Our Latin saying for this lesson is antebellum. That's how you would say it in Latin, but I'm going to actually say it using the anglicized pronunciation because that is how you will hear it. Antebellum. Antebellum means before the war. And this is a very common saying in our American culture because it refers specifically to the Civil War and the culture of the South before the Civil War. So this was a culture where there was a landed aristocracy, and there was an ideal of chivalry. So you will often hear this Latin saying in reference to architecture or to manners or dress or just history in general. So antebellum is how we say it in Latin using our ecclesiastical pronunciation, but we're just going to say it using the anglicized pronunciation since that is how you'll hear it. So antebellum, and it means before the war. First, let's
Again, to prove my point even more, I've selected some more photos. I've selected photos from the Andy Griffith Show, and I've selected photos from Leave It to Beaver. Both of these shows are shows I grew up watching. And when I was older, I realized, wait, Jim Crow was going on during that time. Parallel universe. Both of those shows, Andy Griffith and Leave It to Beaver, were very happy shows. Life seemed so beautiful, just like the antebellum period. But there is no acknowledgement of the suffering of Jim Crow that Black people were going through that was going on at the same time. And that is what America has been like. Two worlds coexisting, one weighed down by oppression and racism that is unaddressed often, the other world happily going on as if everything is okay. And we tend to still live like that. In our classrooms, we continue to teach history as if the pain of people of color never existed. And we've got to change how we talk about human history if we're ever going to heal. We have to be honest. We've got to stop these parallel universes. We have to allow the two worlds to intersect, to accept truth, and to bring change. So I've taken the time to create this little video on my phone, hoping that how I'm illustrating it is not a way to point fingers at you, to say, you're doing this to me. It's to awaken us to these two worlds that are not connecting. And my hope is that we all desire to cross into Samaria. When Jesus walked into Samaria, the sinless one, the perfected one, was willing to walk into Samaria. And we all are called to do that. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. Jesus acknowledged another universe. And we see that conversation. This is why my school is called the Living Water School. It wasn't just because I was trying to find some Christian name. I'm very intentional. I named it that because I wanted to hopefully educate students who were willing to step outside of their caves, as Socrates says, and cross over into those spaces. If you're black and your trust is gone because of the racism you've gone through, like myself, that you are still willing to cross over into Samaria, to that alternate world, to figure out, how can I connect with you? If you're whites and it's hard for you to trust the black stories because all around you life seems okay, and you don't trust the media, and you just maybe feel like black people are complaining too much and they should be grateful for this country, this land of the free. I want to encourage you to step out of your space and come over into our world and try to understand our existence. And I really believe that if we all cross over into Samaria, and whatever that is for you, God will heal all of us.